This conference will now be recorded.
Hello friends and welcome to BISPtrainings.com. My name is Neeraj and today we are going to see an interesting real-time example of data wrangling. I would be using financial data and we would be using Python Pandas library to massage, clean or wrangle our financial data. As you see in my screen, these are the various operations you fall under data wrangling. So this is our requirement. In today's requirement, our source data is ERP, the data which I extracted from ERP system. My ERP system also have an accounting module and I am reading of trial balance data. This trial balance data is available in flat file. We would apply various cleansing and data transformation rule and finally load this data to my planning and budgeting system downstream. So these are different tasks one can perform under data wrangling. Let's understand the requirement. So I'll show you data file first and then we understand the requirement. So my data exists in my data file. I show you my data file which I just copied over here under this path. So it's in online training, learning stuff, PPT and Python practice. This is data from business. So this data I have extracted from my ERP system. And if you see this carefully, it has got budget, time period, company, area, and credit and debit, along with some account details and product details. What I want to do it, I want to load this data to my planning and budgeting system. But before I load this, there are some data massaging is required. The first example in which we are going to convert this data, the actual flag is actually B for budget, A for actual. I want to transform this or replace this B with budget value. Okay, so let's see how it is to be done. It is done in 6 steps. For the sake of simplicity, I did not use any procedure and function. All these instructions are straightforward. Step 1, I'm going to import Pandas library because I'm reading this data from Excel and I massage it through DataFrame. Therefore, I use Excel writer function over here. I import from Pandas. Step second, these files are exist in my flat file. These are Excel file. So I read Excel file function and specify the argument file name as an argument. And the reference of this is going to store under an object called variable called XLS file. Step third, because I need to apply various functions, so I'm going to transform this data into Excel reference to the data frame. It could have done other way as well. There are multiple ways of doing the same thing in Python. But in this example, I want to demonstrate how to read data from Excel to data frame. So I read this data into data frame. And then finally, step number 4, we are applying a replace function. Whereas scenario type is the name of my column. If you look at carefully, this is my column name called scenario type. I want to read this B value and replace with budget. So I'm using a replace function, Excel writer, sorry, scenario type dot replace function. What value you like to replace? I like to replace this B with budget. Because I like to replace this value, therefore the third argument I pass over here called in place true. So you're going to overwrite the value over here. Okay. So all the changes you have done, it is available in your data frame. I wanted to write back this data from data frame to Excel, and therefore I use a Excel writer function over here, which is object of my data frame. Panda library, sorry, Panda library object pd dot Excel writer. Specify the file where you like to write this, and we need to specify the engine through which the data is to be returned. So you write an engine equals to XLS writer. While processing this example, this is available in our BISP learning material folder. While processing this example, if you find an error message over here, you need to install this through pip install command, XLS writer, pip install, and whichever component you like to install, you can install over here. Finally, I want to write this data into Excel file. You can write this output into Excel or CSV. I've given both the option. It's subject to you what you like to do it. You can use one of them. So dataframe.csv, and you specify the file where you like to write this all transform data. The second argument, index equals to false, because I do not want index column, therefore I made index equals to false. This argument is optional, you can leave it. By default, index is true. You can write to CSV file or you can write to Excel file. In case you're writing to Excel file, you write to Excel. Object name over here, which is writer, Excel sheet name. So there are maybe which sheet you like to write finally, and index file. Let's do this practically, and I'm going to execute all the tasks one by one. I'm using Python 3.7. I'm going to create new file over here. And step 1, import Panda library. And I create an object called PD. I'm going to import Excel writer. So Excel writer function refer from Pandas. So I write from Pandas Excel writer. Then I need to read the file, Excel file. So we use Excel file function, pandas.excel file, and specify the name of the file which you want to read. So put a file name. This is my entire path. Name of your file is budget revenue budget.xls. This is my file. After reading this file, I would like to put the reference of this into another variable called xls file, so that I can use this reference object for subsequent operation. So I use, after reading this, I like to convert this into data frame so that I can apply various function, right? So we use xls underscore file dot parse function, which is going to parse this into data frame. And you specify sheet name over here. Which sheet? You see as first argument sheet name. So which sheet you like to read? So my sheet name is revenue budget. Put a sheet name over here and single quote. And the output is in turn stored in a data frame. Now you have got data available in data frame. You can print data frame over here, right? And execute this example right now without transformation. I call this called financial data. And I run this. When you run this is not going to anything, just display the output in a data frame. That's it. But what do I want next? I want to convert this B with a budget value, because my downstream budget and forecasting system doesn't understand B. We want it to convert to budget. And subsequently, we'll automate the whole process without human intervention by creating different jobs. So next step, what I'm going to do, I'll apply replace function, replace B. So this is my column number first, which is called scenario type. Scenario type, you can specify scenario type, the sheet name dot, we use replace function. When you click on this, you replace function automatically pop up. What do you want to replace? I want to replace B with budget. Second argument is a budget. So B is going to replace budget wherever the B exists. I want to replace it, therefore the third argument called in place equals to true. It is argument number second. So T is capital true. So you modify data frame. Now you want to write back this data frame back to my Excel file, right? Because the modification wherever you done it's in your intern memory in a data frame. In order to write it into CSV file, the straightforward data frame dot CSV function you can use and specify CSV file name. See, the first argument is path. So pick up a path from here, copy path from here, and name it. I would name it as called budget final, which is already exist. I'm going to overwrite this file, budget final, and by default it has an index number, but I do not need an index column, so I'm going to make it index equals to false, right? Index equals to false. If you do not specify this argument, what happened? The default value index equals to true. So this is how you can write CSV file, but in case you need to write into Excel, we need to create a pandas.excel file Excel writer function. In Excel writer function, first you specify the path where you want to write this file. In this file, budget final dot xls, and we need to specify engine where it is going to write. This argument is mandatory. So your reference need Excel writer needs an engine through which you're going to write it. So engine name is XLS writer, XLSX writer. If you find an error message XLS writer module does not exist, you need to install this XLS writer function. And the reference is I'm going to store a variable called writer variable, and now you can use DataFrame dot toXL. Now toXL takes first argument object name, which is writer, and sheet name in which you like to write it. So sheet name I specify called sheet 1 or budget data, budget sheet, and I do not need an index over here as well, so I write an index equals to false. That's it. Save this. If you have error message, we are going to handle this. Financial data, let's run it. So when you run it, you see this was your source data, right? And when you look at your target data, this is your target data. So you see the difference over here. I'll put them both together, arrange them vertical, and this was your source. In the source, the actual flag was B, which your downstream system does not understand. Therefore, I convert this from B to budget. In a subsequent example, we do more transformation with dates, entity, product, and account type. This is a simple example which demonstrates you how to use Pandas, DataFrame, and Excel writer function to wrangle your financial data. That's it. Should you have more questions, please write to us www.bisptrainings.com. Thank you.